My beloved brothers and sisters, many of us sit here today with a smile on our face, but deep down in our hearts we know there are habits we are ashamed of, things we do in secret, things we wish nobody ever finds out, and sometimes we convince ourselves that we will never change, that we are stuck forever. But let me remind you, there is always hope, there is always a way out. No matter how dark the tunnel may seem, the light of Allah's mercy is brighter. And what I want to share with you today are not complicated theories, but simple tactical steps that can transform your life if you are sincere. So stay with me, listen carefully, because perhaps one sentence, one thought, one reminder today will be the turning point that helps you break free from what has been holding you down for years. And by the will of Allah, you will walk out stronger, lighter, and closer to Him. My beloved brothers and sisters, the very first step to leaving any bad habit is to acknowledge that it is actually a bad habit. Because many times we live in denial. We convince ourselves that what we are doing is not so bad. We tell ourselves that others are doing worse, or we hide behind excuses, thinking that one day we will change. But for now it's fine, and that is exactly how Shaitan traps us, by making us believe that wrong is not really wrong. And when the heart becomes numb to sin, when the eyes get used to seeing it, when the tongue gets used to saying it, or the body gets used to committing it, then even the most destructive actions feel normal. So the first level of change is to actually wake up and say to yourself, yes, I have a problem. This is displeasing to Allah. Yes, I am harming myself. And that requires honesty and humility, because as long as a person keeps covering their faults, keeps brushing them aside, keeps pretending they are fine, there will be no progress at all. But the moment you open your eyes and say, I need to fix this, that's the moment the doors of mercy begin to open. And awareness also means understanding the consequences of your habit, realizing that it affects your health, your family, your time, your money, your relationship with Allah, your peace of mind. It eats away at your spirituality and leaves you restless. And when you truly see how a single bad habit slowly destroys your life, you begin to feel a natural urge to stop it. So awareness is not just saying I smoke, or I backbite, or I waste hours online, but it is saying I do this and it is damaging me. It is pulling me away from who I want to be. It is blocking my du'as. It is making me weak in salah. It is displeasing my Creator. And that inner realization creates pain in the heart. And that pain is the seed of change. Because no one changes while being comfortable. Change only comes when you feel uncomfortable with your sin. When your conscience bothers you. When your nights are restless thinking, why am I doing this? And that discomfort is a gift from Allah. It is His way of reminding you that you are better than the sin you are falling into. So instead of running from that awareness, embrace it. Let it wake you up. Let it shake you, because the moment you admit that the wrong is wrong, you are already on the journey of making it right. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they want to leave a bad habit is that they expect to quit it in one night. They put so much pressure on themselves that when they fall once, they lose all hope and say, I cannot change, I am too weak. But that is not how Allah designed us. We are human, we are created with weaknesses, and real change comes in small, consistent steps. So instead of telling yourself that tomorrow I will be perfect, rather tell yourself that today I will be better than yesterday, even if it is 1%, even if it is one small action. Because Allah loves those deeds that are done regularly, even if they are small. So if someone has been smoking for years, and they suddenly say, I will stop forever, maybe they manage for a day or two. But then they collapse and go back to even worse. But if they say, I will reduce, I will slowly replace this with something else, I will control myself one day at a time, then by the will of Allah they will progress, because consistency builds strength. And this applies to every habit, whether it is wasting hours on the phone, whether it is gossiping, whether it is missing salah, whether it is speaking harshly. Start small, take baby steps, and don't underestimate those small victories, because every time you succeed in holding back even once, that is a victory against Shaitan. And when you add up these small victories, they turn into a complete transformation, But if you set unrealistic expectations, Shaitan will come to you the first time you slip and say, look, you failed, you are useless. Just give up, and that is how he makes people abandon the journey. So remember, Allah does not expect perfection overnight. Allah wants to see the effort, the sincerity, the gradual growth, the genuine attempt. And when you take one step towards Him, He promises to come to you running. So instead of saying, I can never do it, start saying, I can do it slowly, step by step, with Allah's help. And make it practical. If you waste 10 hours on useless entertainment, bring it down to 8, then 6, then 4, until eventually you control it completely. If you use foul words, cut them one by one. If you miss prayers, start with 1, then 2, until it becomes 5. Because the mountain is climbed one step at a time, not in a single jump. And the mercy of Allah is so vast that He rewards every single step you take towards goodness, even if you are still on the journey. So do not despise the small steps, for they are the building blocks of permanent change. My beloved brothers and sisters, when it comes to leaving a bad habit, one of the most important lessons you must learn is that you cannot simply remove something and leave an empty space. Because the nature of the human being is such that if there is a gap, something will come and fill it. And if you don't choose what to fill it with, Shaitan will happily bring back the same bad habit, or even worse than before. So the secret is not just to stop but to replace. For example, if a person wasted hours scrolling on the phone, and suddenly they put the phone down without any plan, they will feel restless, bored, uneasy, and that boredom will push them right back into the same cycle. But if they replace those hours with something meaningful, like reading Quran, exercise, learning a skill, spending time with family, or engaging in beneficial work, then that habit truly gets uprooted. And this is why in Islam, whenever Allah forbids something, He provides a halal alternative. Alcohol is forbidden, but water and pure drinks are given. Adultery is forbidden, but marriage is encouraged. Interest is forbidden, but trade is made permissible. And in the same way, when you stop lying, replace it with speaking the truth. When you stop gossiping, replace it with remembering Allah. When you stop music, replace it with Quran or a nasheed. When you stop wasting time, replace it with learning or serving others. Because the soul cannot remain empty. It always seeks to be occupied. And if you do not guide it towards good, it will automatically slide back into evil. Many people fail in their journey because they only focus on removal. They say, I will stop this sin. But they do not ask themselves, what will I do instead when I feel the urge, when I feel the craving, when I feel the gap, and then the habit comes back stronger. So my brothers and sisters, be smart. Every time you cut out something negative, plant something positive in its place. Think of it like removing a weed from the garden. If you pull it out and leave the soil bare, more weeds will grow. But if you plant a beautiful flower in that space, the weed has no chance to come back. So don't just remove the bad, actively replace it with good, so that what was once a source of sin becomes a source of reward and closeness to Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest influences on whether we remain stuck in our bad habits or we succeed in breaking free from them is the environment we place ourselves in. Because no matter how strong you think you are, if you are constantly surrounded by people who encourage the same, who normalize the same wrong, who laugh at it, celebrate it, and invite you towards it, then sooner or later you will fall back into it. And that is why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ reminded us that a person is upon the religion and character of his close friend, meaning your company shapes you. So if you want to change, you cannot keep sitting in the same gatherings, listening to the same conversations, visiting the same places that triggered your habit, because that environment will drag you back. But if you consciously choose a circle that inspires you, friends who remind you of Allah, that encourage purity, gatherings where your iman is lifted, then even when you feel weak, your environment will carry you, and this is how you protect yourself. And many people underestimate this. They say, no, I am strong, I will not be affected. But over time the constant exposure wears you down, because human beings adapt to whatever is around them. If you are surrounded by negativity, slowly you start thinking like them, speaking like them, behaving like them. But if you are surrounded by positivity, slowly your heart opens up, your habits improve, and your iman strengthens. So my brothers and sisters, environment is not just about people, it is also about what you consume. The media you watch, the content you scroll through, the music you listen to, the spaces you spend time in, all of that is feeding your souls. So ask yourself, is this environment making me closer to Allah, or further away? Is it feeding my bad habit, or starving it? Because you cannot expect to stop a sin while keeping yourself inside the same pool of temptations. You have to step out. And yes, it may feel lonely, it may feel difficult to cut off certain friends, or avoid certain places. But remember, Allah will replace them with better company, better spaces, and better contentment. And once you see the peace that comes from a clean environment, you will realize that this was the shield you needed all along. My beloved brothers and sisters, when we speak about leaving bad habits, we must understand that our own strength alone is never enough, because the nafs is weak, shaitan is persistent, and temptations are everywhere. But the one who turns to Allah, who cries to Him, who admits their weakness, who begs for strength, will always find doors opening, because the power to change does not come from your willpower alone. It comes from the help of the Almighty. So never underestimate the role of dua and prayer in this journey. When you lift your hands and say, "Oh Allah, I cannot do this without you, I am struggling, I fall again and again, but you are the most merciful, please pull me out of this darkness." Those words are more powerful than any self-help strategy, because you are connecting directly with the one who controls the heart. And when you bow your head in sujood, when you cry sincerely, when you keep turning back even after falling, Allah loves that humility. He loves that you recognize Him as your source of strength, and that love brings His assistance in ways you cannot imagine. Sometimes He removes the desire from your heart. Sometimes He places someone in your life to help you. Sometimes He makes the sin taste bitter to you. Sometimes He opens a new path that distracts you from your old ways. And all of this happens because you ask, and this is why you must never stop making dua. Even if you keep failing, even if it's the 100th time, keep asking. Because the day you stop asking is the day you truly fail. And remember that prayer is also a shield. The 5 daily salah are not just rituals. They are your lifeline. Every time you stand before Allah sincerely, with khushu, it cleans your heart. A little it strengthens your will, a little it reminds you of your purpose. And over time that salah becomes a barrier between you and the sin. So do not belittle it. Keep your prayers, increase your voluntary prayer, fill your nights with tahajjud. Even if it is 2 rakat, whisper your weakness to Allah, because He knows you better than you know yourself, and He is closer to you than anyone else. And when you make Him your main support in this battle, you will find that slowly, gradually, but surely the chains of your bad habit begin to break, and you emerge stronger, purer and closer to Him. My beloved brothers and sisters, in conclusion, every one of us has our struggles, every one of us has our weaknesses. But the beauty of life is that Allah has given us the ability to change, the ability to rise above those habits that hold us down. And He has promised His mercy for those who try. So remember, the journey begins with awareness, being honest with yourself and admitting the wrong, then taking small consistent steps towards improvement, replacing the bad with something good, choosing an environment that pushes you forward instead of dragging you back, and above all, never forgetting to turn to Allah through dua and prayer. Because without His help nothing is possible, and with His help everything is possible. So do not lose hope. Even if you fall 1,000 times, get up 1,001. Keep going, keep trying, and you will see the mercy of Allah envelop you in ways you never expected. May Allah grant you the strength to overcome your struggles. May He purify your heart. May He replace your weakness with discipline, and may He make your future brighter than your past. I wish you well on your journey. May you find peace, may you find success, and may you find the closeness of Allah in every step. Thank you for listening. May Allah bless you and grant you goodness in this world and the next.